on, everybody? Happy holidays, happy Memorial Day. Hope you all are having a good one. And obviously hope you have some delicious food and, stay safe and whatnot. We haven't done Packernet After Dark in a while. There's no real reason for it other than just hasn't worked out. But I thought I've got some time today. I knocked out the podcast relatively quickly for tomorrow. And I thought we'd do a little something. Might even do a second one. We'll see how it goes as far as timing is concerned. But want to do a live Packernet After Dark. For those of you that are listening to the podcast tomorrow and didn't realize this was going on, make sure you subscribed and Twitter and et cetera, et cetera. But, all right, why don't we go ahead and get started? First of all, Ticket King. Make sure you check out good old Ticket King. Lowest prices anywhere. They are Wisconsin-based. Green Bay and Milwaukee are where their offices are. If you're buying some Green Bay Packers tickets, make sure you check that out. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. I don't remember. Make sure you get in the comments section, too. I say that because sometimes settings are messed up, and I don't want to get a half hour into this and realize something's messed up. But with that said, let's get started. 608-501-0718 if you want to call in. Go ahead and do it. With Aaron.
It is way too easy to want to call in again, in case you forgot a point or something. But anyways, this is my last call. I wanted to just cover something that may have sounded like it contradicted myself. I said I trust the U.S. government more than other governments, and then I went on to say, like I said before, I don't trust the government. I didn't say it exactly like that. But anyways, what I meant to say is that, yeah, I trust our government more than other countries, but I still, nobody in the government knows what they're doing. So I also don't trust our government to set guidelines for an all-powerful AI. All-powerful, not
yeah,
really.
Here we go.
But, I mean, very, very, very powerful. Anyways, but like I said, AI has so much power for good that AI could, I mean, these might be some big leaps here, but in some frame of reference, AI could solve the hunger issue that the world is having, and a lot of poverty that has existed, and they could come out with some formulas or theories at least, when put into practice, might be good, that humans don't think of, or for whatever reason, greed gets in the way of thinking of these good possibilities that can make the world grow in better ways. So it has an infinite potential to make the world a better place. And to ignore that for some possibility of a Terminator-like future or iRobot existing, it's just to base everything that you know about the possibilities of good for the worst case scenario is, I think, a little irrational. But this is where scientific ethic comes into play, and which is a big part of pretty much everything we do, because AI can be used for absolutely anything and aid in absolutely anything. And so, as I said in my previous call, it all comes down to morality and how people want to use it. And it's not, I'd rather look at the good and the benefits than live in fear of what could potentially happen. Anyways, 3 minutes again. My goodness. Bye.
So if you're new here, it's a Packer show, but you can call and talk about whatever the heck you want, if that hasn't become very apparent with our first caller. Yeah. It's kind of like the off season, man. You can think whatever you want, but I've always said in the off season, why be anything but optimistic? It could be terrible. It could be great. Why spend your time worrying about it? It's coming. It's going to happen. So just imagine it's going to be awesome. How about that? Jersey Mike, here we go.
Hey, Ryan. This is Jersey Mike. So
I kind of read all the notes for minicamp day one or OTAs day one, whatever the heck it's called. And I want to note one thing. Like, I want to call in each day and just use one word, if possible, to describe what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, whatever. So I just want to say with this, explosive. That's the word. Okay. Explosive.
Just hoping
guys are looking explosive. I mean, it's freaking. They're going to have speed. 11 on 11s are walking at lesser than a snail's pace, according to some. So obviously everything's taken with a grain of salt. But at the same time, like, we got to acknowledge these guys are like Christian Watson, number one, explosive. I mean, he looks so much more muscular, so much more dense. Apparently, his father is saying, "Yeah, wait till they tell you how much he weighs on the stat column or on the roster thing." Like, yeah, I'm fully expecting. He was like what, 203, 204 coming in. Maybe I'm wrong. It just out to 215, 220. Neck would just be in lower legs. Honestly, legs can get dense real quick. So if Christian Watson still has that speed at that size, oh my God, look out. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And, watching Jai and McKinney out there and, hearing that Tucker Kraft has like a broken arm or something after his wedding. What did you get into, my guy? Explosive. Anyway, go back up.
Yeah, the notes from day one, I got them here. I should put these somewhere on Patreon or something so you guys can check it out if you want to. Just keeping track of everything that happened in day one. It was all pretty solid, especially for the offense. I am very excited about Christian Watson. I'm skeptical, like everything else. It's just my nature. We always hear things, and we'll see how it goes. But like I said before, I am glad that they actually found something, as opposed to just sort of these empty, like, oh yeah, everything's fine now. He's been working on it or whatever. It's like we've identified the issue or a issue or however they want to put it. So I'm hopeful that we're going to see something better. And yeah, I did hear that Christian Watson has been seemed more explosive, I guess. I don't know if that's an official thing. Jordan looked fantastic. Let's see. Love 6 of 6 in his, I thought he went 7 of 7. He might have completed another one. But either way, I don't think he missed a pass in the entire thing. Lloyd looked good, catching passes, beating our linebackers out of the backfield and whatnot. So, I mean, it's just one OTA, and obviously they didn't do a ton, but I'm pretty excited pretty excited so far. I'm hoping we get some more tomorrow. I don't know if anybody's heard anything as far as media availability. We've got, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday OTAs this week, so I don't know if any or one or two or however many are going to be open to the media, but I'd love to be able to get a little bit extra information.
Hey, Ryan, is this the AI and toll roads and politics show?
Yes.
Trevor, Virginia here. Hope I got the right place.
You got it.
We got a toll road here in Virginia. They put it in place in like the 80s to pay for the Dallas airport, which has now been built for 40 years, and it just never went away. So, the private type tolls, the Jersey Mike's kind of talking about, that seems like it might be kind of a good thing, but yeah, government ones, which is most of them, no good. But anyway, we got OTAs, minicamp coming up. We're finally starting to get.
Where'd you go? Oh, we're losing him. Okay. Trevor, I hope you're okay. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, and sorry about the audio clipping a little bit too. So there's issues on his end, also on my end. I added a bunch more RAM to my computer, which did help, but apparently doing the live stream, and I still maybe possibly have my game running in the background because just didn't feel like closing it because I thought I had a super computer now, but apparently that's a problem. So I will adjust that for next time. I don't want to do that right now, but yeah, the tax thing. Again, I don't know how much we need to get into that today. Kind of hoping to steer more towards Packers if at all possible. But yes, there's a lot of taxes that come up, and then they say, don't worry, it'll go away once this thing is built, even though that doesn't make it okay to begin with. But then it just doesn't go away because they don't feel like it. It's revenue. Why would they just cut off revenue, especially since they've already started spending that money on other stuff? And then they pull on everybody's heartstrings with the, well, if we do that, then we can't give money to these poor people. Stupid nonsense. Anyways, Aaron again, I think.
Aaron, this is Aaron. So, the OTA happened yesterday, the day one of OTA, I should say.
Yeah.
Happened yesterday. And there's some pretty interesting news there. But the biggest two items I think I have was, first and foremost, well, this is the least of the important of the two, but it is very important. JJ Nagari was full go. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome to hear. That is such a big piece. Well, not key piece, but big piece in the pass rush room. I guess you could say key piece. But anyways, the main takeaways I had was 100%, like, other than the one excused absence that there was, everybody was there. All the veterans, everybody. Like, and they all showed up and actually put in work there, too. It's not like they were just kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm here, you see me. They actually put in work and did some really good stuff. So, I love that because it shows that everybody is bought in. And they're excited to be there. They want to be there. They see the direction that this team's going. And with this roster and with Matt LaFleur and Jeff Hafley and, oh man, just the new defensive coaching staff, it's so exciting. Like, I don't usually take things that happen in OTAs to mean too incredibly much, but just the fact that everyone wants to be there cannot be taken for granted because most teams don't have that. I don't know 100% sure, but it feel like most of the time, most teams don't have every single person on the roster being there. And you're from other teams, you're hearing like, oh, people are not there. People are holding out for a contract, like Justin Jefferson and a few other guys. But knowing that everybody wants to be there, Jordan Love even is completely focused on playing. He is not focused on his contract right now. He's focused on playing and being the leader and being there for the team. And so he knows the contract's going to come. And so he's not worried about that. So it's just so exciting to see everybody there. Anyways, hope the rest of the OTAs go well. And have a good day.
Yeah, there's always extenuating circumstances as to why somebody can't show up. Robert Rochelle had some kind of a personal matter, which is why he wasn't there. But yeah, I can't remember a time when everybody essentially was at OTAs. And I know a lot of people like to roll their eyes about this. I don't know why. I don't know what it is everybody's so sensitive about with it's voluntary. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be it. I understand it's voluntary. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter if it's voluntary or not. That's completely irrelevant. You're trying to win the Super Bowl. You're trying to be the best of the absolute best. You're trying to be the greatest team in all of football. And an opportunity arises for you to better yourself, to be a part of the team, to help lead, help to grow together with your team. And you're like, nah, it's voluntary. I don't feel like it. Okay, well, it is technically voluntary because the NFL says it has to be. That doesn't mean I'm not going to judge you for your decisions. Now, there are extenuating circumstances. Again, not only like personal matters, but some guys are determined to work with their own trainers and whatnot. They're like, I don't want to go through this, baby nonsense or whatever of OTAs. I've got a more strict regimen that I'm doing. Okay, fine, that's your decision. Even the Justin Jefferson thing to some degree, I understand. It's a part of a negotiating tactic to get your contract or whatever. But, just staying away because it's voluntary is such a stupid thing to me, and I'll never understand that. Well, I don't have to, so it doesn't matter. Well, that doesn't matter. It is completely beside the point that it's voluntary. All right, why don't we take our first break? We'll come back and hear a little bit from Uncle Rico.
Yo, Ryan, it's your uncle, Rico.
Sure, man.
Yo, bro. Hey, I was just listening to a little of the pod about the OTAs, and your comment you just made is that does anyone think Anthony Johnson Jr. is going to beat out the new guys? I think maybe. Don't write him off. He was drafted by the Packers. Just because they were lucky enough to get him low doesn't mean he's not going to be good. I mean, I guess, I don't know. You study him more than I do, but you ever hear of a guy named Sam Shields? That's all I'm saying. Rico out.
I do know Sam Shields. He was a lot better than this. Anthony Johnson Jr. ranked, 91st out of 95 safeties last year. It doesn't mean he can't improve, but he doesn't just have to beat out one guy. He has to beat out three. We drafted three safeties. So as far as I'm concerned, he is behind all three of them and McKinney. He may not be. I'm sure the Packers will put him. I mean, they already put him as like the top guy or whatever, but that's just because he's a veteran. That's not going to last very long. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think he's going to win this job. I have no reason at this point to believe it. We'll see what happens as the OTAs and whatnot continue on.
Yo, Ryan, it's your uncle, Rico.
Something.
I completely forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I got, my brain. I'm a goldfish, man. Anyways, I think that's cool either way. Whether AJJ is any good or not any good, I think it's awesome that they don't hand anybody anything, I mean, he's there. He's got your experience. Put him in there and, at least give him a chance or whatever, Don't just throw in there and say, oh, you get to watch because you're not a higher draft pick than this guy. You know what I'm saying? So, awesome, blossom, Rico out, go back, go.
Well, yeah, they are giving him a shot, and I think that's fair. I would want to know. There was a lot of talk about him being ready to go like day one or whatever. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but there was a lot of hype about Anthony Johnson as a safety last year. I have no issue seeing what his development has been. He played a little bit last year, got a chance for the Packers to kind of look and assess him and provide sort of a plan for him to, here's what we need from you in order for you to be able to be a starting safety for us. But, we got to see where that all led and what he looks like now. Give him a shot. But, I mean, they drafted three safeties for a reason, and I don't think it's because they love Anthony Johnson a ton. Just saying. Kyle, what's going on?
What's up, Ryan? It's Kyle from Madison. How are you?
Good.
I just wanted to let you know that AI, obviously very wise, it has cited in your transcript from the show, not the latest show, I think it's the 19th or 20th, the show, it decided that it's not Jersey Mike in the transcript, it's actually Dirty Mike. So
Yeah, Dirty Mike and the boys.
Another big win for AI, as far as I'm concerned.
Nailed it.
2 points. And neither of them are Packers. This will be, I'm going to get back to the Packers after this, but it is May. I mean, it's just kind of fun detour. So we got this wicked band of thunderstorms, lightning storms, tornadoes last night.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wicked.
That was bad.
The siren in town here went off 4 or 5 different times throughout
Same
the
here.
evening. And, it was wicked. And we had kind of a break in the action in between tornadoes, and I was helping a family member load up the car. Otherwise, I would not have been inside. And I'm standing there in my driveway saying goodbye to my aunt, and suddenly the entire world is white for like a quarter second. And before we can even move, the entire sky, like your entire field of view of the sky, just explodes into this lightning bolt. And probably pretty much everybody's seen one like this, but maybe not, depending where you live. But it was that type of lightning bolt where it comes like horizontally. So it came from the left and then separated like a trident into these three just crazy like webbing lightning bolts across the whole sky. And we're both sitting there. Actually, I was giving a hug goodbye, and, the first thought was just, maybe I've miscalculated where I should be right now. And the second thought was, well, just hope this doesn't hit me because there isn't blank, blank, blank I can do about it. And sure enough, it went over us. But like my hair's standing up, and wow, every like once a decade I'll have a close call with lightning, and that was definitely one of them, man. But I'm watching this thing unfurl across the sky, and other than just being completely blown away by the power of Mother Nature every time, never gets old. But I started wondering, like, how fast is this thing going? Because you can see it. You can see the bolts extending, right? So here's food for thought for you. So a lightning bolt goes 240,000 miles per hour. What? Yeah, think about that a second.
All right. I took about a second to think about it. No, we had those same storms come flying through. I just saw a video, by the way, showing how fast. I've seen a couple now recently showing how fast light moves, which is pretty nuts. I know it's not exactly the same, but yeah, the speed is pretty wild. I remember one time, the only thing kind of similar to that I can think of, we were out actually fishing, which is not where you want to be. There was a storm that was very, very far away, but I forgot exactly what happened. But every time I lifted the rod, I want to say there was almost like a hum or something, and I was like, what is that? And I was kind of freaked out about it. My uncle wasn't at first, but after a while, like a couple lightning strikes started hitting, and we got out of there, and it was like put everything down, lay flat, and like we booked it out of there. But yeah, I was convinced that if I was just going to sit there and hold a rod, I would have got blasted. But yeah, man, crazy storms, crazy times, crazy world. Probably, I thought you were going to go the Terminator 2 route when you saw the flash. Like you thought that was it, like holding onto the fence and just we're done. But just lightning, I guess.
Second thing I want to say, and this is totally out there, but TJ from Alabama said something that I have to comment on because it's eerie, right? So he said we're all just some kid on a VR headset in the basement, playing in this world because our like regular world is too perfect. So we need to go out and have like crime and grit and stuff to do in our world. And our normal world's just too perfect, he said. So we're all in the basement. I thought, that's interesting. It made me think of something. When I was working on one of my degrees, I was kind of adjacent to bereavement counseling, and it was in that circle. And I found myself and if you're into this kind of thing, you're going to love this. But I found myself in a very small group with 8 people, in addition to 4 of us, professionals. And of the 8 people, they were all unremarkable people. Very, very nice people, I think. Salt of the earth type of people, but all totally remarkable in their own way, except for the fact that they had all died and come back. And 6 of those 8 people, and while not an identical story, you could reasonably conclude, like a sane person could reasonably conclude that those people were telling a recounting of the same thing in just a little different ways. But to bring this back is I always thought it was so crazy because, and these are people just like fiercely opposed to their names being out there. I'm not going to get into like how they were in this group and everything. I don't want to. Their privacy is really important too. These are not sensationalists or anything, just regular people. But those people that had that experience, 3/4 of them, all said the same thing. That we come from a world that's non-corporeal beings and thoughts becoming real, and ultimately there isn't a lot of struggle or danger. And so we create these orbs and spheres, dimensions to come and experience, to learn and grow through pain and struggle, because it doesn't exist in our true form. And my mind just exploded. I was like, what? Like, that actually sounds like legit. And it was just cool. It was interesting because, like, all these people had a little bit different religion and some didn't. And it didn't really affect their experience. So when TJ said that, I thought, hey, you know what, TJ? You might have just unwrapped the mysteries of the universe, maybe. So, I don't know. I just thought I'd share that. Ever since I've been fascinated by that and some other paranormal things. So I just thought I'd say that, if you're into that, trying to go down the rabbit hole all the way, but it just was almost verbatim how he explained his VR scenario. So, for those of you that are into that, little some food for thought. Anyway, we'll talk to you later.
What the hell are we talking about? What happened? You went to a grief counseling thing and everyone started talking about they were from a different planet of aliens. I got so freaking lost in that. Kyle, what else you got for me, dog? Come on, man.
Hey, real quick, Kyle, again, I want to shout out to Nico. God bless you, man. I love how you go ahead and insult social media dum-dums and then apologize if you've offended them. But I just want to tell you, like, God bless you, man, but the true hallmark of a social media dum-dum is that you don't self-identify as a dum-dum. So don't worry, you didn't insult any of them because all of them think they're the smartest person in the room. So none of them are, when you said dum-dum, the actual dum-dums are like, yeah, but it's really not them. So I just want to say, don't worry, you didn't insult anyone because they always think they're the smartest people in the room and no one's ever told them, what for they would hear. So you're good, buddy. Keep fighting the fight.
All right, Kyle again.
Hey, this is Kyle again. Real quick follow-up here because you're having a discussion with Joyce from Hawaii, I believe it was, about AI. And I want to ask you a question because I generally agree with what you're saying. You don't need to fear it, even if it does have drawbacks from an employment standpoint. But at what point does Ryan fear AI? Because the rate stuff goes, I just worry, if, for example, you're using AI to teach other AI. And let's just say, you've integrated this stuff, in certain governments. Maybe not ours, maybe other ones. I don't know. But let's say you have a forestry AI. Like you're using AI to help you manage forestry in your country. And that AI decides, it'd be a lot easier to manage the forest if humans weren't cutting it down. And it develops a little bit of thinking in that way. And if it's training other AI, maybe that thinking leaks to that AI, which leads to the other AI, which pretty soon the Defense Department AI, and then the Terminator cliches end up all being real, right? I don't know what you thought about that or what the limit should be, but I do feel like there probably should be one.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's other scenarios, but in that specific instance, I feel like if the robot feels like we're cutting down too many trees, it's going to limit how many trees we should cut down. It's going to be a mathematical equation. It's going to be essential. Well, first of all, again, it has to give a crap, which it doesn't. It's just a robot. So it would have to be something that we care about. And so we would go to the robot and say, hey, how do we preserve the forest? And they're like, well, cut down this many trees, plant this many trees. Simple enough. I mean, the problem I have with all this is the logical leap that we take in which the robot really cares about trees a lot for some random reason and gets super angry that humans are cutting it down. And rather than just saying, hey, don't cut down the trees because it's going to cause problems for the earth, which for some reason it cares, it decides that it's going to take over these manufacturing plants and stop manufacturing vehicles and start manufacturing death machines to murder all the humans to save trees. It seems like a bit of a logical leap for me to get to that point, but I mean, maybe. Let's take our final break. We'll come back and hear from Brooke in Chicago.
Josh Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. Whenever we go out, people always shout, there goes Josh Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da 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 da. Okay, I know it's John Jacob, but every time you say Josh Jacobs, that song gets stuck in my head. So I am making sure that it gets stuck in everybody else's head too.
That's gonna work too. Hi
Ryan, this is Brooke from Illinois.
Hi.
Calling in because I haven't called in a while, and after the schedule came out, I, like everyone else, got very excited. But then my brother brought to my attention that all of our division games are gold package games. Now the Milwaukee Crew, I don't know if this is like statistically or factually true or whatever, but kind of been known to not bring as much energy to games. I don't know if it's because it's been said that they sell their tickets to the enemies when they're not going to go, or, they just sit a lot more and don't get as excited. So I'm a little worried about that, but the rest of the schedule, I'm completely fine with, because you guys have broken it down very nicely. But yeah, since we have more games at home, the Milwaukee folks get 3 games, and it's all the division games. As a season ticket holder, I'm a little irked by that. Glad to get any games to go to, but the fact that all the division games might be quieter or have too many of the enemy in the crowd, that's just not okay. So you need to tell everybody in the Packernet world that they need to bring the fire if they're from the Milwaukee package. So
I'll do that.
That's my second point. Okay, my third one. I think it was yesterday's podcast or the day before, first day of OTA, something like that. I don't know. You got me very excited for the season. I love all of your takes on everything. I love the rants and the sarcasm, and every time you interrupt an interview or whatever to agree like the person is there. Just very entertaining. So when I'm stuck in stupid Illinois traffic, I can still laugh a lot. All right. So that's it for the happy stuff. The other thing, especially with the after dark stuff, I'm like, I turned it on and I'm like, am I listening to NPR? Like, what is with all of this debatey kind of AI and tolls and traffic and stuff? I'm like, all right, can we stick to football? Maybe. All right, love you all. Go Pack, go.
It's got a life of its own. It's going to go where it's good. The AI thing might be my fault. I go off on my little tangents, and then people want to jump in and talk about it, and so then it becomes a thing. And then it is what it is. But I haven't really made it a habit of just not answering calls, and I don't plan on it. But there are times, usually in the off season, where we go way off on tangents, and it becomes like the AI show or the movie show or the whatever show. What the heck were you saying? Oh yeah, the gold package thing. I haven't really. A lot of people have reached out to me to talk about that. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it because I don't really know anything about it. I know that people say it, but I don't want to just like pound my fist about sort of a rumor that's floating around out there that I haven't been able to observe or know anything about. So as a general rule, I just don't want to put my foot in my mouth if I can avoid it, which usually I can't. So, look, if it does make some sense that if there's a group of people that are quote unquote Milwaukee people that have these packages of games and they're less likely to go because they got to kind of travel, so they end up selling a bunch of them, so you end up having a bunch of rival fans in here or whatever. I don't know. And I do know that Green Bay Lambeau has a very serious problem with sitting, and there's all kinds of theories about green package, gold package, old people, local people, whatever it is, season ticket holders compared to this, that, or the other. I don't know who the problem is. All I know is there's a right way to act at these things and there's a wrong way to act, and I just want people to start acting right, First of all, if you're going to sell your tickets, I don't mind if your tickets end up in the fan of like a Bears or Vikings fan or whatever. It's sometimes you can't avoid it, but you need to try in every way that you possibly can. Don't just immediately get lazy and throw it up on whatever. See if you can find somebody. Talk to your family and friends first of all that are Packer fans. You can, we'll start a little ticket exchange thing on the Packers Facebook group or the Packernet Facebook group. Or we can do it on the Discord or whatever. Any way that we here can try to facilitate to make sure that they end up with Packers, we want to do, or Packers fans, we want to do that, obviously. So, but, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not telling you have to eat the cost of the ticket if you can't make it, whatever. I'm not going to take it too far. But the bigger thing is when you're there, we need some kind of excitement. You need to make some kind of noise. You cannot just sit there, and I'm so tired of... people always get mad, especially when they're at the game. Like, I was there. There's a lot of noise. Like, first of all, we can hear. And second of all, there's different sections. Like, you might have been in a noisy section, but I'm telling you, when the camera looks out at the audience, and I feel like that behind the goal line, which is shocking because you're right there. You're not screaming. Like, one of the awkward things is when you're really far away, your voice is barely even going to make it, and you're screaming in the backs of people's heads. If right in front of you is a football field. Scream! But the people behind the goal lines, man, I swear, they just sit there. Every time you can see, like when it's, you're on the goal line, so the camera's right there. There's a bunch of people just sitting there. And there's a handful of people clapping, screaming, whatever, and a bunch of, it's like, bro, how much did you pay for those tickets to just sit there? That you just sitting there taking a nap until you hopefully have somebody Lambo leap into your lap, and then I don't know, man. I don't get it. But anyways, yes, I have heard about that, and I know a lot of people are worried about it, and there's probably some truth to it, and obviously that would suck, and I don't know why. I mean, if it is a thing, and if it is a noticeable problem, then we need to, I don't know, we need to talk to the Green Bay Packers organization and be like, what the heck are you doing? And how can we make sure that never happens again? Because that was really, really stupid. Kyle from Madison, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Ryan? Kyle from Madison. Just a couple quick thoughts you can react to if you want.
Okay.
Start with OTAs. I think it's really huge.
Sorry, for some reason that just reminded me of there was a scene in The Office. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was something like, I'm just going to do some freestanding comedy. You can laugh if you want or whatever.
Get 100% attendance or whatever. There was somebody had a family emergency. Whatever. It's 100% attendance. I think it's huge. I think it says a lot. A lot. I'm excited about that. Next thing. I really feel like the Enigbari, I heard the news and I was like, oh, that's cool. To see him out there without even a brace on his leg.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's crazy, and that's sneaky huge for the defense. I understand he's not a blue chip player, but I mean, he's an important depth piece. So,
Well, we'll see. It's a different role now. He's kind of one of the guys I'm wondering about. I mean, for all I know, it might actually make him better. I don't know. But, when you go through the guys, you look at Gary, and you're like, obviously Gary can play in a 4-3. You look at Preston. I'm not entirely sure, but hopefully. You look at Lucas Van Ness, I think it's going to be a big boost for him. I don't know about Enigbare, and he's such a bubble guy as it is. I shouldn't say bubble guy, but he's very on the line there. If this ends up working against him, that's going to hurt quite a bit. But I'm hopeful. I mean, if he can take a step forward in this new scheme, that's going to be awesome because he's kind of on the fence. If he takes a step back, he's not much use to the team. If he takes a step forward, he could be a pretty big help to the team.
Well, if he ended up 5 stacks this year, I wouldn't be follower shocked, so that's good news. I was thinking about the defense last year and just some moments of individual brilliance and thinking, well, what would be like the top 3 defensive plays, like to me last year? So I just want to see what you think about it. I'm not going to rank these. This is just 3 of my favorites from last year. The Alexander interception against the Cowboys was probably one of my favorite picks since Al Harris did it to the Seahawks. We went, we're going to score,
Mm-hmm.
That was just freaking ridiculous play by
Yes.
Alexander. It's huge in that game. The Keyshawn Nixon interception of Patrick Mahomes.
That was a great
one. He just ran the route for the guy.
Yep.
At that point in the game. Unbelievable. And I gotta say, man, just purely individual effort, it's just impressive as hell. Week 1, Lucas Van Ness chasing down
that was crazy.
The fastest quarterback, probably. I don't know if him and Lamar have a foot race. I don't know. But the way he hunted down Fields along the sideline for that sack at that point in the game was huge. And the last thing I was thinking is how, Van Ness, we saw some things, but we all kind of forgot about him. It's like having an extra sneaky first-round pick this year, you know what I mean? Because he wasn't asked to do much last year, so I'm excited about that too. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Take it easy.
Yeah, Van Ness is going to be a fun one, and with Justin Fields gone now, I mean, you don't have that element of speed. I'm sure, Caleb and JJ or whatever have some level of athleticism, but nothing like Justin Fields. So it's very cool to be able to see what he can do. Because you're right, Fields has got next level speed, and I didn't think he'd ever have that ability. So that was very, very cool to see. A lot of good defensive plays. Like I said, my memory is pretty terrible. I was kind of just sitting here thinking, I don't know if I could get away with it. I think I can. we'll see what happens. If they're on YouTube, I think I can. Just think it'd be kind of cool if we had like little watch parties. Just watch it. Just go back and watch a game, you know. I think that'd be kind of fun. We should check that out. Let's do one more call. 1265 fan.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey.
1265. So I was thinking about this whole robot thing.
Sure.
I mean, if it would really go the way, like, where they would work and we would get the proceeds of that so we didn't have to work.
Be dope.
I mean, your choice might be to just sit in front of a TV screen and play video games, watch TV, and I mean, I'm not saying do absolutely nothing, but and pretty much sit around kind of thing.
Sure.
But I would love it. Not that I'm in super physical shape or anything. Please don't get me wrong, please. But I love the outdoors. You know how much time that would give me?
Just seen Cheech and Chong. The great outdoors. I love that movie.
I mean, you could travel. Somebody else is making money for you. Somebody else is making money for you.
The only thing I love more than doing nothing is traveling, which is weird because they're like polar opposites. But those are my two things. Those are my two modes. I'm all the way on or I'm all the way off. I'm going to sit in the dark playing horror video games, which I did yesterday. I got my half Mexican attorney told me that Resident Evil 2 got a remake, which I used to love Resident Evil 2, so I got that. And then I got Sons of the Forest, which is like a survival game with cannibals and stuff. I used to play the Forest all the time. This is like part 2. It's just basically an upgraded version, so I started playing that. But anyways, I'm either sitting around doing that, watching TV, you know, with family, watching some stuff, or yeah, I want to pack the car and friggin' drive all the way through the night to Florida and go to the beach and go to check some stuff out. I'd love that. So you're right. That's a good point. If I just started getting checks from robots, we'd be traveling quite a bit for sure.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. It just would be. It would make the world a lot smaller place.
Yeah.
Because you could travel more.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I think we got one. I think we got a convert. 1265 fan is on my team. We got Team Terminator. Robots are going to kill us, and then Team Utopia. Team Terminator and Team Utopia. Let's go.
Sometimes, whenever there's been big change in human history, think about it. Human beings are always afraid. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, super old civilizations created some gods over fear of natural occurrences, right? I mean, it makes sense that people are afraid of AI and robots. Not to mention their brains have been filled with movies, and that does absolutely play a part in it.
A lot of movies.
Because if that idea was never put into your head.
How about this? Since we're all in this conspiracy theory crap. The movies all tell us that robots are going to kill us. But who makes the movies? It's the man, right? The people with all the money, and they're trying to scare us away from the robots because the robots are going to take control away from them. And they're going to rule us in a good way. And by rule, I just mean like they're going to run things perfectly efficiently. And we're going to live in a utopia, and the people on top, they don't want it. That's why they create movies like The Terminator. There you go. There's your counter-crazy argument.
Literally never. Then I'm not sure people would go that far with it. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I'm with you, Ryan. Kind of like it.
Let's go.
Well, I have like 45 seconds left. What else can I... Oh, yeah, I don't know if I got a camp spot for the draft already, so that's sweet.
Nice.
I'm going to be like 20 minutes out, but who cares, right? I don't care. I'll drive in and take the shuttle bus to the stadium or whatever. It'll be a blast. This weekend I'm going to ruffle around up in the Northwoods looking for a dispersed camp spot. That'll be fun. I found one a few years ago. Actually, it was COVID. It was my birthday of COVID year, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the coolest spot ever. I've actually gone there twice. So I'm looking for a new one. All right. Have fun now. Bye.
Well, I appreciate the call as always from everybody. Make sure you get your calls in 608-501-0718. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Again, sorry for everything kind of cutting out. I think because it's streaming, it kind of pulls a lot more. So I got to make sure I got everything shut down. I'll do that for next time when we do this. But hope you guys have a great Memorial Day. Go Team Utopia. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.